Hi everyone, and welcome back to our Blackboard tutorial videos. In this video we're going to be talking about how to use Blackboard to calculate your final grades for your courses. But before we get started, we want to mention that this video is only for calculating your final grades in Blackboard. You still have to submit your final grades through MyTrent, just like you do any other time. But Blackboard can actually help you figure out what your final grade should be, actual calculation of the weights and the percentages and all that. And it's actually a lot easier than going through and doing this in Microsoft Excel. So what you can see here is that I have my sample Blackboard course. I have a user in here, demo user, and over here, if I scroll over, I have some grades assigned to this user. So there was an essay, 2 essays, a midterm test, and a final exam. And now that I've got my grades into Blackboard, I need to calculate the final weighted total for the student and all my students so I can post their final grades on MyTrent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to create a calculated column, and I'm going to click on a weighted column. And a weighted column means you're assigning a certain amount of percentage to each one of these columns. So I'm just going to click weighted column, and just like creating a lot of columns in Blackboard, I have to give it a name, so I'm going to type final mark. Okay. It's going to be a percentage display. I want it to be a percentage of the final mark. And then down here, what I have to do is pick the columns that I want to include in my calculation. So I want everything from Essay 1 down, so I'm just going to click these one by one. Essay 1, midterm test, final exam, Essay 2, okay. And now what I have to do is put my percentages of the whole, so what these marks are worth out of the entire course's final grade. So Essay 1 was out of 25%. The midterm test was out of 25%. And you can see while I'm doing this that it's keeping track of the total for me to kind of make things a little bit easier. So I'm just going to keep putting in my course weights here. This would be right off my syllabus. Okay. And when I'm done, I can see that I have a grade out of 100%. So what this is going to do is it's going to take the mark for Essay 1 and it's going to apply it to 25% of the final mark, and so on and so forth. So this is a lot easier than doing this in Excel because all you have to do is just specify the weights and it'll do it for everybody. The last thing that I want to do, though, is make sure I pick this Show Column to Students and set this to off. And the reason that I'm going to do this is that at Trent, the registrar's office doesn't allow you to release your final grades on Blackboard. They have to go through the formal process of being approved by the chair and then posted on MyTrent for the students to see before you can release them to your students. So we want to make sure that that is set at no. And then I'm going to click Submit. And after a second, I have a new column over here called Final Mark, okay? And you can see here that this little dot with a line through it means that the students can't see it, but we can. And there's our final mark there. Now just to show you what happens, if I click anywhere on here and let's say I upgrade this to a 50, there my final mark has changed. Now the last thing I want to mention before I close this video off is that even though I put all of my grades here out of 100, it really doesn't matter what these are out of. So a lot of people tend